Okay, this PowerPoint is for my classes 305, 306, 345, and 531. And this is how we are going to be charting. You may use Excel if you prefer, but we officially are going to be using ChartDog. Now, I showed you ChartDog in class the other day, but you still might want to know, what can I do with ChartDog? So you can enter up to 2 sets of data that you want to graph. So the red might be student A, the blue might be student B. You can group data series into discrete phases. You can attach custom labels to each graph phase. Now for this first project, we're only going to be looking at one set of data. You can create customized labels for the X and the Y, as well as the customized chart for the graph, but you don't have to, because if you'll notice, when you're looking at the chart selectors, it's got a lot of chart selectors that you can already pick out of there. And if you push the drop-down box, then it's going to give you a whole lot of different things. Like if you want to do something for math, so when you're naming your chart, there's reading chart names. There's all kinds of things in there. So just kind of play around with it a little bit. And so then you can also compute your trends or regression lines, means, percentages of data points for each data phase. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with ChartDog, but we're going to try and keep it very simple for this first project. So what do you do when you're getting started? First of all, when you open up ChartDog, a starter page is going to be displayed. And so I'm going to go through all the information, and then you're going to see the chart. So the page directs you to select from a drop-down list the number of data points you want. And for this first project, for this CBM project, the introductory, you are going to have 20 data points that and so you're going to pick 20, and that you're going to enter into the application, and it's automatically going to give you like 50, but you're only going to use 20 of them. Immediately the page reloads into a format that allows you to let this data to be charted. So what are some things that you can do? You can customize your data to suit your own needs, the graph to look the way you want it to look. You can change the chart settings. You can type in your custom title if you so choose. The first time around, you might want to just choose one of the chart titles that they have along with the X and Y, because it might be a little bit easier for you the first time through that you've used this. And then your chart title, if you decide to write one in, it can be up to 50 characters. That is counting spaces. Spaces always count as characters. So right here you have your chart title. So right here we have our chart title on figure 1A, and he decided that he wanted to call it John Smith's curriculum-based measurement chart. And so he didn't use the one that they used, but he wanted to make sure that he was able to put his own in there. And so you can do this when you're using this on individual students in your classroom. Now, for B, it says the title of the vertical y-axis data. And right here it gives you a really great one, CBM correct digits per 2 minutes. Okay, so that tells you that this is math, and because we're looking at correct digits, and he's going to have a 2-minute timing. So we know that the math probe that they're using is a 2-minute timing, and we're looking for correct digits, not correct answers, but correct digits. And down here in C, I can get the little cursor to move and find it. There it is. So we've got, they decided that they were going to use calendar days. And they didn't want somebody they can use calendar days. They don't need to add in their own custom title. Now right over here in figure 2, we're going to look at the line plots. So we're going to have data series 1, and right here, this is a drop-down box. You can put it however you want. You can have circles, triangles, you can make them red or blue, however it is that you decide that you want to do that. Now, for your axis title, you can create a label for that axis chart. You can choose from the pre-formatted drop-down list, like I said, or you can enter your own custom label. But you should type in a custom label and select a choice, or select a choice from the drop-down list. ChartDog will accept your custom label, but you have to put something in there. So then you have your x-axis title, and the x-axis displays on the chart where the time series are collected. So that's going to be at the bottom. Remember, your y is always vertical, your x is always horizontal. Then when you're creating the label for your x-axis, and in a second you'll be able to see it, you're going to be able to choose from the pre-formatted drop-down list. Okay, so there was the calendar days, and I already showed you that little section. But then you can enter your own custom label. So then we're going to look at line plot options. And so as you saw in the chart, you can choose circles, diamonds, triangles. I believe you can also choose squares, red, yellow, blue, green. There's a lot of different colors that you can choose. And just be sure and look at those drop-down lists, see if there's something that you would like to use more. Okay, then we're going to show the data values. And for each line plot, you're going to choose you can show or hide the numeric value of the data points. So it might be easier for you if you're going to be showing this to parents. Instead of just having a data point, be sure and show that number there with it so that parents and students can really have a good idea of what it is that they've been doing. So in figure 3A, which you'll see in just a second, it illustrates the button on the ChartDog that allows you to display the numeric data values. Now 3B is going to let you show a visual example of the line plot. Now you can give short names for data series. So if you want to assign a unique name to the data series, you can do that. And then you're going to have labels that can be up to 25 characters in length. Remember, that's counting your spaces. Spaces, periods, any dashes, anything that you want to put in there. Labels that you enter will appear in the graph legend. So then you're going to be able to show them how, they're going to have to be able to read the graph legend in order to read this different label. So if you don't name your data, the ChartDog will assign generic names to them, like data series 1. And like right here, you can see this very, very easily in figure 3. It says display data numeric values. Numerical data values, and you just click yes. And so then right here you can see how that's going to appear on your graph. And then in figure 4, again, you can, oops, there we go. So, you can show, do you want to do, do you want to have a shortened name for it? Or for reading errors, you might want to put something like that as well. And so then you have display the data table in the report. You have the option to have a table of data values appear in your generated chart report. And in figure 5, which you're going to look at in just a second, it's going to show you how the user selects, or you can deselect, the display table. So right here, we've got, let me find it, there it is. Okay, so then we've got the display table. Do you want to display the data table in the report? Yes, definitely we do. And then over here in 5B, you've got your baseline. So your first 3, it's going to give you your baseline, and then your peer tutoring. And so you're going to have different types of examples that you can use there. Then you're going to enter dates of your observations. So you need to have those dates ready. So for each data point that you're going to enter, you have to have a corresponding date. It won't let you go any further without that date in there. So put in the date and then put in the Observation 1. Now, you can put in observation 2 if you're using a high and low student or two students that are working on the same thing. If you want to do two students, that's fine too, but you have to do at least one. The ChartDog web form, it has also drop-down lists with day, month, and year, and so you can use these to kind of help you to, work through the program. Now, right here is an example. Whoops. Let's get back to the right page. There we are. So right here you can see where, the day, the month, day, and year, and what kinds of observations you're getting. So then you don't have to have decimals in there. You can just put in however many words or digits they either computed correctly, read correctly. It doesn't matter how it is that you change this. Now, we haven't talked about phase changes or phase labels, and we're going to hold off on that until your second project with the CBMs. Now, some of you are only doing one project for me, but I do have classes that are going to be doing more advanced types of CBM projects. So then you're going to enter your numerical data. And so you're going to type each of your data observations into the appropriate box. And ChartDog is going to accept only numeric values. That is the only thing that it considers valid data. It can handle decimals as well as negative values. But if you're entering values for two data series, type the number value in the first data box. And then you can type the number value for the second data box into observation 2. And remember, observation for our purposes only is talking about, how many decimals did they compute correctly, how many words did they write or read correctly, however it is, whatever topic it is that you've decided to use for your CBM. Okay, so then you're going to mark those phase changes. And in ChartDog, you can mark the phase changes on the graph by clicking the phase change box, if you want to use a phase change. Phase changes are located in a data series in which a significant modification has taken place, and you're moving it up a notch, okay? And so when you select a phase change, ChartDog will insert a break into the charted line plots, and it places a vertical dividing line on the graph to mark where that phase change happened. And then you can also, just like with everything else, you can create a label for that phase change. Now, we've got a look at some of the different areas. Now, see, we've got phase changes right here. That's what these vertical lines signify. And then we have we've got the peer tutoring weekly, and as you can see, we've got we've got these the labels for each phase change. And while we don't have an aim line in here, when you print this off, or when you put this into your Word document, when you copy it off and put it into your Word document, you can then put in your aim lines. So then you're going to create a chart. So once you've entered all of your data and your chart settings, then you just basically click on Create Chart. It's pretty simple. And that helps the chart, that begins the start and end time of the section 3. So enter data observations. Now remember what I told you in class. ChartDog will not even begin to try and make a chart out of empty data spaces, and it has to have at least eight observations in order for it to create a chart. So when you're using this in your class, you have to have at least 8, but for this project, again, you're going to be using 20. Then the progress monitoring chart will appear in a separate window, and this is what you're going to want to save. So you can erase the chart data and settings if you wish to, then you just have to start over again. So And the ChartDog also now allows you to save your chart settings and any data that you've entered into the program. So you just have to complete the steps of permanently saving data in ChartDog. So first of all, you have to save data to the web page. If no data has yet been saved to the page, you'll see a red checked border that says no data has been saved to this page. Then to save the data, you enter the data you wish to have appear in the chart, and then you click the Save Data, and the page will reload, and then it'll say your data has been temporarily saved into this web page. And then you just need to go ahead and permanently save it. So you're most likely to use ChartDog to measure the impact of your intervention or your treatment. And your treatment right now is, for my graduate class, we're using, of course, we're using one child in your class that you've decided what is the area that they need to work on the most. And for my other classes, my undergraduate classes, at the moment we're using virtual information. However, that may change as you go through your field experience at Coquillard. So then we're going to have, then you look at the treatment, and so then you have a time series graph, and it's typical for the data to vary from one day to the next, because kids are not robots, and so as their moods vary, as things change with them, so are their abilities in your classroom. So then ChartDog is going to give you some statistical tools that you can use to help you analyze and draw some conclusions from your charted data. And so you're going to be able to choose the data analysis tools. You can choose a least squares regression trend line. You can, which honestly you don't need that right now, but you can choose it anyway because it'll give you some nice and very nice looking graph. You can calculate the mean value for each phase on your data sheet. You can compile the percentage points, and you can compute an effect size. So, and this is where you kind of pick all those out. I can get it to stop right here. So you're going to pick one of those. But what I really need for you to give to me, I need to see what those data points are, and I need to see that line that is going to show me that slope. So whichever one that you're comfortable with, I just need to make sure that I'm going to have those mean. You're going to have to turn in the mean values for data points by phase. Now, and this is your ending ChartDog pick that's going to show you exactly what it's supposed to look like. So it's going to give you all the information of what you put in there, and then up on the top it's going to also give you your different slope lines. So I hope that this has helped you to understand ChartDog a little bit better. And if you have questions, please remember to email me. Thanks, and have a great evening.